How you doing, Manginas? Tanky Toddler here, bringing you guys X-Rated Girlfriend Stories number 2. And before I get started into my crazy story, I need a favor for you guys. I am in a YouTube competition between 10 YouTubers, and the top 5 advance to the next round. And the link is in the description below. It is Overtflow's channel, and thank you very much, Overtflow, for allowing me to be in your competition. And all you have to do is go watch the video, watch the 10-minute video. It's a minute promo of all of our channels, and vote for the top 5 channels. And I hope you guys will vote for me. All you have to do for voting is thumbs up the comment that he posts of my name. It says Tanky Toddler. So make sure to vote for me and vote for 4 of your other favorite YouTubers on there. And just go subscribe, see some other good channels, because I watched the whole video, and there's a lot of good channels on there. So it's going to be a fun competition, and I hope to advance to the next round. So like I said, link in the description, and it would help me out a ton if you guys voted for me. So let's get started now to the X-Rated Girlfriend Stories. And this story is kind of old in a way. It was my going into freshman year of college, so this is about 3 or 4 years ago. And it was right about the time that Anna, if you guys don't remember her, we were dating for about 6 months, and then me and her went to go do some stuff in the car, and while we were doing stuff in the car, she said her ex-boyfriend's name, Nick. She said Nick, and then I didn't hear her at first, and she started crying. I'm like, what are you crying about? She's like, I said Nick's name, and I was so pissed. I'm like, what the fuck? And to be fair, I was already kind of thinking about maybe breaking up with her at this point, because it was just like, I don't know, it just wasn't the same. I feel like we really weren't quite bonding as much. It was just basically us hanging out and doing shit together, and I kind of wanted a little bit more than that in a relationship. Plus, we were about to go to separate colleges 8 hours away from each other, so I knew maybe it probably wouldn't work out, and I don't know if I could trust her. And obviously I couldn't, because it turned out she did cheat on me with her ex-boyfriend Nick, so it kind of makes sense why she said his name rather. So anyways, that's not even the point. The main story is about 5 days later. I had technically not broke up with Anna at this point, but we had not talked for 5 days. She called and texted me a bunch. I hadn't said anything to her because I just didn't really want to talk to her. I planned on breaking up with her. So we were going to this party with the people I worked with when I did my professional singing job, and they had a house for some of the people that lived there that were like 45 minutes away from the actual place, Altoona. So we had a big party there, and this was before I was good at drinking. This was before I knew exactly how to drink and contain myself. And I bought a bottle of Rumplemints, and it's 100 proof, and I didn't buy anything else. I just bought Rumplemints, and I brought Mountain Dew for me to use as a chaser. So I really loved Rumplemints at this point, and I still do, and I'm really surprised, especially after this night. We played Ring of Fire, and so I did Rumplemint with Ring of Fire with Rumplemints. But before that, there was this girl that I worked with, and her name is Maddie. She was actually in one of my earlier girlfriend stories. She was the one that, like, she kind of whipped me. She kind of like led me on, and that was like 4 years before we started working together. So she said she knew I was kind of down the whole week about this whole situation with the girl. So she was hooking me up with one of her friends. Her friend's name, I believe, was like Katie. I'm not positive now. I can't remember her name. Her name was Katie, and she came to the house, and I recognized her. And right away, Maddie must have let her know that I was DTF, and she kind of let me know that the girl was DTF. So, I mean, I didn't even have to try to flirt with this girl at all. It was really funny because we were actually sitting across the table from different spots, and every time I'd say something remotely funny, she would just, like, start dying laughing. So it was like almost over the top, and I was kind of embarrassed. But I didn't talk to her for most of the night. I just drank and hung out with everybody else there. There was about 10, 12 of us, and it was a ton of fun. It was a great time. So nighttime rolled around, and I needed to spend the night there since I was so drunk, and there wasn't really enough beds because there were so many people living there at the time. So downstairs there was a bunk bed and a pile of mattresses, and Maddie, the girl that hooked me up, had her boyfriend there too. So they got the they got the bunk bed right next to the mattresses. And by the way, these were placed 5 feet apart, maybe even less. The pile of mattresses and then the bunk bed about 5 feet apart, if that. Like, they were right next to each other. And so we were in the basement, and I'm not quite sure how it exactly started, as I was quite hammered from the Rumplemints, and I drank probably like half bottle to maybe 3/4 of the bottle, like, no joke. And that was, like I said, before I even knew how to really drink and hold my alcohol, hold my liquor. So I was hammered, and so we got down there, and the girl was me and the girl slept on the pile of mattresses, and just right away, as far as I remember, because I don't remember anything else happening, because everybody kind of went to bed. We go down there, We were on the pile mattresses. Maddie and her boyfriend were on the bunk bed, and we all just pretty much got naked. We were all naked, all 4 of us. 2 guys, 2 girls, was naked. And this Katie girl, she was so obnoxious. That's all I remember, is because it was. This is even weird for me to say in my X-rated girlfriend stories. She moaned, but she moaned without even me touching her. She would just moan. She just like laying there. I'd be like a foot away from her, not touching her at all, and she'd just start moaning. I'm like, what are you moaning about? Like, I'm not doing anything. Stop. I'm like, we gotta be quiet. You know what I mean? Because right upstairs in the doorway, right upstairs, and we had the door shut, obviously, but right there was a person in a room. Right above us is 2 bedrooms. So, I mean, people could probably hear us. People could probably hear her. And I'm like, shut up. I mean, like, come on, man. Not man, but obviously not man. I'm like, come on, girl. Like, shh. That makes me sound like I'm talking to a dog, too. God, I can't win in this situation. Overall, it was really weird. I asked her to be quiet, like, a lot. And, during the whole process of everything, because, you know, we went, I hit a home run that night. Probably more than once. I hit a home run, maybe a multi-home run, slam, grand slam. And during it, though, I was sick from alcohol poisoning. I literally got up at times and went to go puke and came back and continued like nothing happened. Like, it was embarrassing. It was probably the most east side, the most, like, trashiest thing and trashiest actions I've ever done in my life, and in a way I don't really regret it, but it was really awkward thinking back on it now, because the guy, Maddie's boyfriend, was watching us the whole time. He wasn't even invested in his girlfriend. He was just kind of watching us and commentating about it. He was like, wow, dude, he kept telling me, dude, she sounds so hot. And I'm like, yeah, but we need her to be quiet, so can you tell her to be quiet? And so, but she wouldn't, and she's like, oh my god, she's so sexy, and like, wow, you guys are looking good, and stuff like that. He was like commentating, and he finished before me, probably because I was a little bit sloppier drunk, but it was just so weird, like, they were just looking at us, and maybe not Maddie so much, but the guy, every time I looked up there, he was looking at us. So I mean, to be fair, I looked up there a couple times, but every time I happened to see him looking at us, so it was super weird. And then once they were done, he kind of rolled over, had his hand on his head, and just like kind of watched us. And I'm just like, oh, man, this is weird. And at the time, I didn't think much of it, mostly because I wasn't thinking at all. But the next morning, I'm like, oh, man, it was weird. But, so, after that whole shenanigans, by the way, we actually fell off the mattresses at one point. Because, like, it was legitly, like, 6 mattresses piled on each other. And at one point, we, like, rolled over and we both fell off the mattresses. The mattresses came down on top of us. It was embarrassing. We just piled the mattresses back up and continued. But we stayed up so late that I began to kind of sober up in a way, especially after throwing up as much as I did. And so I went and slept on the couch upstairs. And all of a sudden I woke up to her brushing my hair with her hand. And she's like, how are you feeling today, baby? And stuff like this. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I still have to deal with Anna, because me and her haven't technically broke up. We did. I broke up with her the next morning. But I was like, oh god, like, does this girl really think that me and her are gonna start dating after this situation? Like, I was really weirded out about it, and she was like, so what are you gonna see? What do you see in us? She's like, is this gonna turn into anything? And I'm like, I just kind of got out of a relationship for 6 months. And by the way, I want to premise this by saying I do kind of feel bad, because technically I did kind of cheat on Anna. But then again, I don't feel bad at all, because she cheated on me for 6 months straight with her ex-boyfriend. So I really don't feel bad at all in the situation. If I would have cheated on another girl that didn't deserve it, that would have been fine, but she completely deserved it. And I kind of, like I said, I kind of didn't really cheat on her. In a way I did. I don't know. It's like a weird technicality. Anyway, so eventually I was so I told her, I'm like, you know what? I just got out of a 6-month relationship. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And overall, we didn't actually keep in touch. And she wasn't bad looking. Actually, she was pretty cute. She was actually pretty cute. It turned out about however many months later, and by the way, it's not mine, but she got pregnant and she has a kid now. So, it goes to show you that I probably wasn't the only one that she was sleeping on with a pile of mattresses. That shows you how dirty it is. So, if you guys enjoyed X-Rated Girlfriend Stories #2, please leave a like if you do. And please go vote for me in the Overtflow competition. I'm going to need your guys' help, and it'll be amazing. I want to advance all the way to the top, alright, guys? So, stay hairy, manginas, and I'll have a video up here pretty soon, probably tomorrow.